Your next relationship will shock everyone around you, and even you may struggle to believe who God is preparing to bring near your life. Do not scroll past this moment. Silence the noise of the world for the next 30 minutes and listen with your spirit, because this is not just another message passing across your screen. This is a sacred signal, a divine interruption, a warning wrapped inside a revelation. God is saying that what is coming into your life will not look like what you expected, and it will not arrive through the door you kept staring at. The person connected to your next chapter may be someone you overlooked, someone who once stood far from your world, or someone who has been quietly watching your transformation without understanding why your presence stayed in their thoughts. Hear me clearly. This is not about shallow attention, empty emotion, or another temporary connection. This is about divine timing, hidden alignment, and a door God refused to open until your heart was strong enough to walk through it without begging, shrinking, or losing yourself. You have carried storms that nobody saw. You have survived silent battles, private disappointments, and seasons where people questioned your worth because they could not see the kingdom blueprint over your life. But heaven saw. God saw the nights you kept praying when your strength was almost gone. God saw the fire that refined you, the wilderness that trained you, and the loneliness that taught you to stop chasing what was never assigned to you. C.S. Lewis often pointed toward a deep Christian truth. The human soul cannot find real rest by controlling tomorrow. It finds rest by returning to God. That is why this message is reaching you now. Something in your future is being arranged beyond your understanding. And if you leave too early, you may miss the hidden key that explains why past rejection had to happen before this divine connection could appear. Stay with this word, because before you recognize who is coming, you must first understand why this connection is not random. Chosen one, what is coming toward you is not a coincidence. It is divine timing moving behind the curtain while the world thinks nothing is happening. Hear me clearly. God does not build sacred connections through accident, impulse, or emotional confusion. When He prepares someone to enter your life, He also prepares the season, the timing, the wounds, the lessons, and even the closed doors that made you wonder if love had passed you by. You thought some endings were proof that you were forgotten, but God is saying those endings were protection. The people who walked away were not strong enough to carry the weight of your destiny. The doors that closed were not punishment. They were divine boundaries. The silence that hurt you was not empty. It was a wilderness where your spirit was being trained to stop begging for what heaven never assigned to you. Let me tell you something with authority. The next relationship will not arrive to repeat the old cycle. It will come through a door God has been guarding, and only the right person will have the spiritual permission to step through. This is why your waiting season felt so strange. You were not just being delayed, you were being refined. You were being pulled out of shallow attachments, broken patterns, and places where you had to shrink your light to be accepted. God was building spiritual armor around your heart so that when the right person comes, you will not mistake peace for boredom, honesty for danger, or love for fear. There is a blueprint over your life, and this connection is part of a grand design that people around you will not understand at first. They may call it sudden, but heaven has been writing it for a long time. They may say it happened fast, but God has been arranging every hidden detail, every sacred signal, every unexpected shift. Do not judge this season only by what your eyes can see. A divine door can look closed one day and swing open the next. Stay alert, because the person connected to this next chapter is not as far away as you think. And in the next part you will understand what has been happening inside them while you were still learning how to trust God's timing. Someone has been watching your transformation in silence, and they do not fully understand why your presence has stayed with them so deeply. This person may have once stood far from your world, acted unaffected, or convinced themselves that you were not someone they would ever feel drawn to. But something shifted when they saw you survive what should have broken you. They watched you walk through storms without letting bitterness become your language. They watched you pass through fire and still carry light in your spirit. They saw you lose, wait, pray, rebuild, and rise again with a strength that could not be explained by appearance, personality, or ordinary confidence. Hear me clearly. What is pulling them toward you is not shallow attraction. It is recognition. Their spirit is beginning to notice the weight God placed inside you, the sacred value others overlooked, the quiet glory heaven preserved in you through every wilderness season. In The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis wrote, "There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal." That truth cuts directly into this revelation. You were never ordinary. Even when people treated you like you were easy to replace, you were never disposable. Even when someone failed to honor your heart, you were never invisible to God. Even when human eyes passed over you without understanding the kingdom blueprint upon your life. And now God is allowing someone to see what others ignored. They are not merely noticing your face, your voice, or your outward life. They are sensing the eternal weight of a soul that has been refined, guarded, and marked by grace. Let me tell you, this connection may not look obvious at first. It may begin through small signs, sudden thoughts, unexpected conversations, or a strange awareness that neither of you can fully explain. But do not dismiss what God reveals quietly. Many divine shifts begin in silence before they stand in the open. This person is beginning to realize that you are not just another name, another memory, another passing connection. You carry a sacred signal that reaches something deep within them. And when that signal becomes too strong to ignore, their silence will begin to break. Stay with this revelation, because the next part will show why they fought this feeling so hard before they finally started surrendering to it. They tried to walk away, but every road led them back to you. And this is where the matter becomes more serious than emotion, more dangerous than curiosity, more sacred than attraction. Hear me clearly. When God begins to expose what a heart has been hiding, silence can no longer protect the lie. This person tried to bury the feeling beneath logic. They told themselves it was impossible, too unexpected, too complicated, too far outside the life they had imagined. They tried to keep their world controlled, clean, predictable, untouched by the fire your presence awakened in them. But God is saying that no human wall can stand forever when heaven has already marked the door. Every time they turned away, a sign pulled them back. Every time they distracted themselves, your name returned like a warning bell in the secret chamber of their soul. Every time they tried to convince themselves that this connection meant nothing, something deeper rose up and testified against their denial. Let me warn you, this is not a game, and it is not a passing mood. A soul can run from comfort, but it cannot outrun divine conviction. They are being pressed not by obsession, not by fantasy, but by a sacred confrontation inside their own heart. The truth is standing before them like fire before a throne, asking them how long they will keep pretending they do not feel what God has allowed them to recognize. And this is why the intensity is rising. Their peace is disturbed. Their thoughts are no longer obedient. Their emotions are becoming storms they cannot command. They may still look calm on the outside, but inside something is breaking open. In The Problem of Pain, C.S. Lewis wrote that God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. That truth reaches into this moment because the discomfort they feel is not meaningless. It is a holy alarm. It is the sound of a heart being awakened from denial. It is the pressure of truth breaking through the ceiling of fear. God is not allowing them to remain asleep, because what is tied to your next season cannot stay buried forever. You must understand this. Some people do not resist because they feel nothing. They resist because they feel too much. Your light exposes the parts of them they have not healed. Your presence demands honesty from places they trained themselves to hide. They are afraid of what choosing you would require. They are afraid of the conversations, the reactions, the surrender, the courage it would take to step through a door that cannot be entered halfway. But destiny does not bow to fear. God does not prepare a divine connection just to let cowardice bury it in the dark. The walls are cracking, the hidden fire is rising. The silence that once gave them control is becoming the very thing that convicts them. Stay with this word, because this is not only about what they feel for you. The next revelation will show what God has been building inside you so you can receive what you once prayed for without losing yourself again. God is not only dealing with what they feel, He is dealing with what you are finally ready to receive. And you must hear this clearly. The next relationship cannot enter your life while the old version of you is still sitting on the throne of fear. God has been preparing you in ways you did not recognize. The loneliness was not empty. The waiting was not wasted. The wilderness was not a punishment. It was training. It was a separation. It was the sacred place where God stripped away every false attachment, every desperate agreement, every place where you once called anxiety, love, and confusion chemistry. You thought you were being hidden because nothing was happening, but heaven was building spiritual armor around your heart. You were being taught how to stand without begging. You were being taught how to discern without paranoia. You were being taught how to love without abandoning yourself. Hear me clearly. God will not send a divine connection into hands still bleeding from the need to be chosen by the wrong people. He has been healing the part of you that used to accept crumbs and call them provision. He has been confronting the part of you that stayed too long in places where your spirit was shrinking. He has been cleansing the rooms of your heart where old voices still whispered, "You are too much, too late, too difficult, too damaged, too hard to love." Let me tell you with authority, those voices were never the voice of God. God is saying you are not being prepared for another cycle of proving your worth. You are being prepared for a relationship that recognizes your worth without forcing you to perform for it. In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, "Give up yourself and you will find your real self." That truth is burning through this season because God did not bring you through storms so you could return to the same broken identity. He allowed the fire to separate the false self from the called self, the fearful self from the surrendered self, the chasing self from the chosen self. The person coming toward you is not being sent to rescue you from emptiness. They are being aligned with the version of you that God has restored in secret. That is why old doors had to close. That is why certain people had to leave. That is why the delay felt severe. A divine door cannot be opened to the person you used to be when God is calling forward the person you were always meant to become. Let me warn you when this connection begins to unfold. Do not drag old fear into a new promise. Do not punish what is genuine because something counterfeit hurt you before. Do not confuse peace with weakness just because chaos once felt familiar. God is preparing you to be loved without panic, seen without hiding, and chosen without chasing. If this word is touching the place where God has been healing you in silence, write, "God is preparing me" in the comments. Like this video as an act of agreement and share it with someone who has been walking through the wilderness wondering if love, restoration, and divine timing are still possible. Stay close, because the next revelation will show why this relationship will shock the same people who once doubted your worth. Sometimes the person God uses to surprise you is the same person who once overlooked you. And that is why you must not judge the next chapter by the silence of the last one. Let me show you how this can look in real life. Imagine someone who spent years being underestimated in a workplace, a church group, a family circle, or even among friends. They were present, faithful, kind, consistent, but nobody really saw them. People took their gentleness as weakness. They mistook their silence for emptiness. They assumed their patience meant they had no fire inside. Then one season everything changed. That person stopped chasing approval. They stopped explaining their worth to people committed to misunderstanding them. They began to heal, pray, rebuild, and walk with a quiet confidence that did not need applause. And suddenly, someone who had once looked past them began to look again, not because the person became loud, not because they performed, not because they became desperate to be noticed, but because restoration has a sound in the spirit. Healing carries light. Peace carries authority. A soul that has survived the furnace without surrendering to bitterness becomes impossible to ignore. Hear me clearly. This is how God often works. He does not always introduce the next chapter with thunder. Sometimes He lets people witness your transformation until their own hearts become the testimony. The one who once thought you was ordinary begins to realize there is something sacred about your endurance. The one who once assumed you were just another face in the room begins to feel the weight of your presence. The one who never imagined being drawn to you suddenly cannot understand why your name keeps returning to their thoughts. This is not fantasy. This is the mystery of divine timing touching ordinary life. You may have seen it before. Someone ignored for years suddenly becomes deeply valued after they stop begging to be chosen. Someone rejected in one season becomes the very person others wish they had honored sooner. God is saying your hidden season was not the end of your story. It was the soil. It was the place where roots grew deep enough to carry what is coming. And when your transformation becomes visible, people around you will not know how to react because the next part will reveal the shockwave that happens when God lets the world see who finally chooses you. The people who underestimated you will not know what to say when they see who finally chooses you. And this is where the shockwave begins. Hear me clearly. This is not about proving yourself to people who were too blind, too proud, or too careless to recognize the weight God placed upon your life. This is about revelation. This is about heaven allowing what was hidden to become undeniable. Some people around you thought they understood your future because they only judged you by your past. They saw your quiet season and called it weakness. They saw your waiting and called it rejection. They saw your loneliness and assumed nobody would ever truly choose you with honor, clarity, and intention. But God is saying they did not see what I was building. They did not see the fire that refined you. They did not see the throne room where your tears became prayers. They did not see the spiritual armor being formed around your heart while you were walking through the wilderness with no applause, no explanation, and no one there to defend your name. Let me warn you, when this relationship begins to unfold, not every reaction around you will be pure. Some will smile with their mouths while jealousy burns behind their eyes. Some will whisper, "How did this happen?" Some will ask, "Why them?" Some will pretend they always believed in you, even though they once treated your heart like it carried no value. But destiny does not ask the crowd for permission. God does not need their approval to bless what He has already appointed. The same voices that questioned your worth may be forced to witness your restoration, and the same eyes that overlooked you may have to watch someone else honor what they ignored. In The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis warned that there are no ordinary people, that every soul carries an eternal weight far beyond casual human judgment. That truth matters here because the people who dismissed you were not just misjudging your personality. They were failing to recognize the sacred weight of a life God had marked with purpose. This coming connection will not be revenge. It will be revelation. It will not be a performance to make others jealous. It will be a divine unveiling of what God preserved when others mishandled you. So do not lower your spirit to match their reaction. Do not let whispers pull you out of peace. Do not let envy become the weather of your soul. Stand still, stay prayerful. Walk through this divine door with humility, discernment, and strength. If you believe God can restore your story in front of the same people who doubted you, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and comment, "Restoration is coming." Do not leave yet, because the next revelation will show why this is not only about romance. This is about the restoration of your value, your confidence, and the sacred identity God never allowed rejection to destroy. This connection is not coming to complete your emptiness. It is coming to confirm your restoration. And you need to understand this before the door opens. Hear me clearly. God is not sending someone into your life so you can finally feel valuable. You were valuable before they noticed you. You were chosen before they spoke your name. You were marked by heaven before any human heart dared to recognize what God had already placed inside you. This next relationship is not the source of your worth. It is a witness to the worth God has been restoring in you through every storm, every fire, every lonely night, and every hidden season where you had to learn how to stand without applause. Let me tell you something with authority. You are not hard to love. You were only placed in hands that did not know how to honor sacred things. You are not too much. You are only too full of purpose for people who wanted something convenient, silent, and small. You are not behind. You were being protected from connections that would have drained your spirit, blurred your calling, and pulled you away from the kingdom blueprint over your life. God is saying that the person coming toward you will not treat your heart like a burden. They will recognize it as sacred ground. They will not be drawn only to what is visible. They will sense the depth beneath your peace, the courage beneath your softness, the prayer behind your strength, the scars that did not turn you cruel, and the light that survived when darkness tried to claim your identity. This is why this relationship matters. It is not merely romance, it is restoration. It is God showing you that rejection did not have the final word. It is heaven reminding you that the floodgates can open after a long drought, that divine provision can arrive after a season of lack, that a heart once mishandled can still be honored with clarity, intention, and protection. In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, "Aim at heaven and you will get earth thrown in. Aim at earth and you will get neither." That truth cuts deeply here, because when you stopped making human approval your throne, when you stopped chasing love as if it were your savior, When you began returning your heart to God instead of handing it to every uncertain voice, something shifted. You were no longer begging earth to give you what only heaven could establish. You were no longer building your identity on whether someone stayed, replied, showed up, or understood you. And now, because God has been restoring your foundation, what comes next will not have the same power to destroy you. You will be able to receive love without worshiping it, welcome connection without losing discernment, and be chosen without making a person your God. Let me warn you, do not reduce this next chapter to attention, chemistry, or emotional excitement. Look for fruit, look for peace, look for consistency, look for a heart that honors God more than it flatters you. The wrong person will awaken your wounds. The right person will respect your healing. The wrong person will demand access without responsibility. The right person will approach your life with reverence. Stay awake, chosen one, because the final secret is closer. Now God is not just bringing them to you, He is revealing who you have become. When the divine door opens, do not enter it wearing the fear from your last season. Hear me clearly, this is an urgent warning, not a soft suggestion. God may be preparing a connection that carries peace, clarity, honor, and purpose. But if your old wounds are still sitting on the throne of your heart, you may mistake a blessing for a threat. You may test what God sent until it grows tired. You may reject gentleness because chaos once felt familiar. You may call it discernment when it is only pain speaking through a guarded soul. Let me warn you, not every fear is wisdom, and not every wall is protection. Some walls were built in survival, but now they are trying to keep you trapped in the wilderness God already delivered you from. The person coming toward you may not move like the ones who broke your trust. They may not love with confusion, games, silence, or emotional storms. They may approach your heart with reverence, consistency, and patience. And that may feel strange at first, because peace often feels unfamiliar to a heart trained by disappointment. But God is saying, do not punish the new door for what happened in the old room. You must pray, you must discern, you must watch the fruit. But you must not let fear become the final authority over a season God is trying to redeem. In the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis showed how anxiety about the future can pull the soul away from the present obedience God is asking for right now. That truth matters here because fear will try to drag your mind into imaginary disasters before grace has even finished opening the door. Do not let tomorrow's imagined pain steal today's sacred signal. Do not run before you have prayed. Do not close your spirit before you have listened. God did not bring you through the furnace so you could spend the rest of your life afraid of fire. He brought you through so you could carry wisdom without bitterness, strength without hardness, and discernment without suspicion. When this connection begins to unfold, stand in spiritual armor, not emotional panic. Let your peace be sober. Let your heart be awake. Let your spirit remain submitted to God. If this warning is speaking to you, comment, "I will not carry old fear into a new door." Subscribe for more prophetic messages like this and share this with someone who needs courage to trust God again. Stay with this final word because what comes next is not just a closing, it is an activation. Something huge is waiting for you. But you must be spiritually awake enough to recognize it when it arrives. Hear me clearly. This is not the moment to become careless, distracted, bitter, or numb. This is the moment to stand in prayer, to guard your peace, to listen for the voice of God more than the noise of people. Because the next chapter will not come wrapped in the approval of everyone around you. It will come wrapped in divine timing, sacred confirmation, and a peace that your old wounds may not understand at first. God is saying, I have not forgotten what you prayed for. I have not ignored what broke you. I have not wasted the nights you cried in silence, the seasons you waited, or the doors I had to close to protect your destiny. Every delay had purpose. Every rejection carried protection. Every wilderness season trained your spirit to stop worshiping what was never worthy of your surrender. And now, as this divine door draws closer, you must not step back into fear. You must not let the opinions of others become louder than the confirmation of heaven. You must not allow jealousy, gossip, confusion, or old insecurity to pull you away from what God is preparing. In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, "Aim at heaven and you will get earth thrown in. Aim at earth and you will get neither." That is the final key. Do not make this relationship your God. Keep God on the throne. Seek Him first. Let this connection be received as a blessing, not worshipped as an idol. Let love come, but let discernment remain awake. Let your heart open, but keep your spirit anchored. The person coming toward you may shock everyone around you, but the greater miracle is what God has already done inside you. You are not the same person who begged to be chosen. You are not the same person who confused pain with passion. You are not the same person who stayed where your spirit was being drained. You have been refined by fire, covered in grace, and prepared for restoration. So receive this activation now. May every false door close. May every divine door open. May every hidden alignment come into light, and may your next relationship reveal the beauty, strength, and sacred identity God has been building in you all along. If you receive this word, comment, "I receive divine alignment." Like this video, subscribe for more prophetic messages, and share it with someone who needs to believe that God can still restore what looked impossible. Stay prayerful, stay ready. The divine door is closer than you think.